What's up guys, Doomwake here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. As always, before we continue, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the video. And please, if you enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We are approaching 5,000 subscribers. I think we just hit 4,800, so thanks again for everybody who is supporting the channel. Glad you guys are enjoying the content, and I'm happy to keep on bringing it to you. I'm feeling a little bit better. I know that there was a bit of a delay. You know, the over the past couple of days, I kind of took a day off. It was like kind of, I was not feeling well. I woke up Sunday and I tried to stream, and I only streamed for about 2 hours. And then I just laid in bed for pretty much the entire day because I was not feeling well. But I'm better today. So, here we are. We're going to play some Niv today. So this is a deck list that I found from the top 32 of the most recent Modern Challenge this past Sunday. And if you haven't seen the Niv-Mizzet deck before, it has been popular in Historic. I think maybe it was played a little bit in Standard too. But for those of you who don't know, here's Niv-Mizzet in all of its dragon glory. Basically, we're a mid-range deck, and we're trying to get to Niv-Mizzet. This deck just has a ton of value-oriented cards in it, and the curve tops out at Niv, and Niv says when it comes into play, it's a one of each color for a 6/6 flyer, and then you look at the top 10 and put one card for each color pairing into your hand. So what we're focusing on here is 2-color cards as opposed to the 3 and 4-color cards, because those are what we can find off of Niv. We do still have 2 copies of Omnath here as kind of our additional threats of choice. Also, Omnath very powerful with Niv, because Omnath with almost any fetch land, because all of your fetches do get black mana, because obviously when you have Omnath in a fetch land, you're missing black mana to cast Niv. But if you can just have a land that gets a black source, then you just go Omnath fetch land Niv, and that sequence is pretty tough for a lot of decks to beat. So our threat base is Niv-Mizzet. We only have 2 copies. Omnath, we only have 2 copies. The reason we only have 2 copies of each of these is because we also have Bring to Light, which is effectively 3 additional copies of each of your threats, but also can be a removal spell, can be a sideboard bullet, something like an Unmoored Ego or along those lines. But basically, it's just here to give you some utility. It's a 5-mana threat, which is the same thing as Niv, but it also offers you access to cards that you wouldn't normally have access to, or just finding your silver bullets or finding another powerful card in the matchup, which is pretty cool. We have Utopia Sprawl to accelerate and fix our mana, because our mana base is, for a 5-color deck, it is going to have some issues sometimes. Our removal spells of choice are Abrupt Decay, Lightning Helix, 1 Rip Apart, 1 Assassin's Trophy, 1 Dreadbore, 3 Vindicate, 3 Kaya's Guile. So, Vindicate, I think, is probably the most important one in this deck, because it is unconditional. It just destroys anything, which is very, very important for a mid-range deck, because the problem you find yourself with mid-range decks is your removal doesn't cover enough bases, but Vindicate obviously covers every base. So Vindicate, very important. We only have 3 in the main deck. There's a 4th in the sideboard. I wonder if there should just be 4 main deck. That's something I'm definitely considering. But you want to kind of have removal that also is lower on the curve to deal with stuff like Ragavan, Channeler, and things like that. 1 Rip Apart to have as a Bring to Light target if your opponent has some artifacts or enchantments like Saga or Ensnaring Bridge, some weird stuff like that. And then our Planeswalkers here, we have 3 Teferi Time Raveler and 4 Wrenn and 6. Wrenn and 6 just probably one of the most important cards in this deck, because your mana is a little shaky at times, and Wrenn and 6 allowing you to keep getting back fetch lands makes it so you hit all your land drops and you hit all of your colors. Teferi is just a very good card in the metagame right now. It's very good against Cascade and other control decks. So just a very, very good card within the metagame right now, and also offers some utility and value, which is pretty cool. Kaya's Guile, which is a removal spell that is very good against the Channeler decks, because it gets their whole graveyard, which means Channeler is turned off. If they don't already have a Murktide in play, they now can't play Murktide because they lose their graveyard. And also very important to exile the graveyard against stuff like Lurrus. So Kaya's Guile is in a pretty good spot right now, even though it's 3 mana, so it's a little bit clunky. It's just a very, very good card and has a lot of utility. And then rounding out our threat base with the mid-range threat of choice, which is General Ferrous Rokiric. As you can imagine, very powerful in a deck with a lot of gold cards, because you're just going to keep making 4/4s. So there's not a lot of removal going around that kills General, outside of, like, burn decks have Helix, Jund Saga has Ren and 6, but there's not a ton of Ren and 6s going around, which makes it, I think, a pretty good time to be playing the General. So that is that's kind of rounding out the deck. And then obviously our mana base, we got one of each basic to fetch with Vistas, we got some shock lands, only one Triome, and then a whole bunch of fetch lands. So one thing I did notice, the person who played this deck in the challenge doesn't have a Giganta, and from what I can tell, unless I'm missing something, let me know if I'm just blind. From what I can tell, Giganta is a free roll, including the sideboard. Sometimes you see people don't submit a Giganta. Oh, I guess Chalice of the Void. Some people don't submit a Giganta because they don't get to do it after sideboard in some matchups, but I don't know how often you want Giganta in the Chalice matchups anyways, because you're usually bringing in Chalice against Cascade, which I would assume their deck is too fast for a Giganta regardless. So if you're looking to pick this deck up, might be worth playing a Giganta. Again, I usually play these decks just kind of face up to get a feel for them before I make any changes, but Giganta would be something that I would definitely look towards. But going over what we do have in the sideboard, Prismatic Ending for Ragavan and Channeler, as well as, I guess, I don't think you want to bring it in against Saga, but mostly here for Ragavan and Channeler. 4 copies of Veil of Summer, which is definitely a statement. Very, very bold, loud declaration that this person loves Veil of Summer. I mean, it's a powerful card. It's good against Control. It's good against Thoughtseize decks. 4 is a lot. I don't know if 4 is a number where I'd be comfortable with, but maybe they were, expecting a certain metagame, so powerful card nonetheless. The 4th copy of Vindicate, as we said before. 1 Unmoored Ego, which is kind of cool. This is our 1 bullet target that we have for Bring to Light. We're a little bit low on bullet targets for Bring to Light. Sometimes you see a Crumble the Dust. Sometimes you see like a Wheel of Sun and Moon. Other targets like that. But we really only have the 1 Ego to go get in the post-board games. But very good against combo. Very good against big mana like Urza's Tower and Valakut. Those are some things you can hit with Ego. Good against Primeval Titans. That kind of stuff. Assassin's Trophy, mostly here for Tron, when we need to blow up some Tron lands. Rip Apart, which is a removal spell that also doubles as a disenchant. It's just a really versatile card. It is a sorcery, so it can be awkward at times, but it just does so much, and mostly here to be bringing it against the Urza Saga decks. Chalice of the Void, mainly here for Cascade, although you'll notice we don't have a lot of 1-drops. The only 1-mana card we have is Utopia Sprawl, so I would consider bringing in Chalice against Channeler and Ragavan decks, Luris, as well. And then it goes like here because people play Mill Online. Yeah, that's really all I can say about the Kozilek. I can't imagine you bringing it in any other matchup. Maybe you could justify bringing it in against control decks, but it's pretty much only here for Mill. But that is the deck list. So, without further ado, let's get into some games, and I will see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. Alrighty, everybody, here for round number 1 with 5-color Niv-Mizzet. Let's see what we got. Remember that thing I said about Ren and 6 being the most important card in this deck? Yeah, if one of these Helixes was a Ren, I'd probably keep this, but as is, we can't really cast any of our spells, so we'll take them all again. Okay. I mean, on 6, I think you have to keep a hand like this. I mean, we have perfect mana. We just don't have something to bridge the gap from 2 to 3. Which is the obvious issue with this hand. So we can go turn 1, get a Triome. So we'll do that. Are we playing against Mill? No. This is probably like Reanimator. Let's do this one. Alright, Mesa go. Probably going to get Steam Vents. What's our opponent up to? Otherworldly Gaze. Are they Reanimatoring? Swamp Thoughtseize. Yeah, it looks like Reanimator of some variety. If I had to guess. Okay. Might be blowing up a land here, depending on what they do. I could also just play General. I mean, we're going to get the Steam Vent, so we have all 5 colors. Could just play General here. That's pretty good. I mean, I kind of don't want them playing Teferi. Like, if I play General and they just Teferi bounce it, it's so bad for me. Kind of want to just Vindicate them. Yeah, let's just do that. I mean, it looks like a weird play, and it kind of is, but... Just pull up the Watery Grave. I need to tap for black mana. Okay. Vindicate your land. I mean, even if they put an Archon in the graveyard and just go land persist, we can discard the General and then Kaya's Guile them. So I think that's okay. They have Delta. They did bait an Archon of Cruelty for what it's worth, so they definitely could have persist here. But again, we can just go discard General, untap Kaya's Guile, play land, and then if we draw another land after that, we just get to slam the Niv. Priest of Felrites. Okay, well now we just get everything. That's really good for us. So black, blue, white. Sack a creature, exile all cards. So that's dead. Their Archon's gone and their Priest is gone. And we got 2 copies of Otherworldly Gaze. Kaya's Guile is pretty good against Reanimator, I will say that. As you could probably imagine. So what do we need to get? I want to make sure I can cast Omnath if I draw it. So white, blue, green, or white, red, green. We can get a blue source. Breeding Pool, probably. Yeah, that's fine. Ren and 6. So now we can go Ren, get back a land, play General. I do have to get a red source. I'll just get a basic mountain, that's fine. I guess I could also just... We could Vindicate. No, let's just play General. I guess Vindicate... Like, the thing about Vindicating is they probably have Faithful Mending here, and if I Vindicate, they just Mending in response. And they still have 2 mana to cast Persist, so I don't really know what Vindicate accomplishes. There's also consideration to just play nothing. Because if they have, you know, Mending plus Persist plus Archon, my General's gone anyways. So I can just sack the Ren, discard the General, untap, Vindicate their thing. Right, there's the Archon. Because now I have to decide whether I want to discard the Vindicate or the Niv. It's not clear. I mean, I think I probably discard the Vindicate. Okay. Well, that's worse if they have the Persist. Because now they just get it all. If they don't cast Persist here, I'm just going to plus the red and not play the land. So I can hold the land in my hand. So I can discard it to the Archon if they do find Persist. I guess that also depends on what I draw. Because I could also discard that card, but... Okay, well, now we can just discard the red at 6. So, get back Foothills. Could also just play red and 6. Get back another land and make a 4/4. I think that play is actually not that bad. Because that gives me 2 lands in my hand to discard to the Archon, and a 4/4 to sack to the trigger. So, I think it's actually pretty good. Okay, so this attack for 3. Yeah, so now if they Archon, I can just sack the 4/4 and discard my land. And it's I don't even really care that much. They're 11. Guess they probably have another bending here. Looks like it. Sure. But yeah, we don't really care too much about them putting an Archon into play. At least the first one. The second one we might care a little bit more about, but the first one we should have covered. We also just have a 2-turn clock. Even if they gain 3, right? They go to 16. Well, no, because they have to sack a golem, so yeah, if they have it, then okay, that's fine. I meant to fetch EOT, but whatever, it's fine. I'll just fetch now. Not a huge deal. Alright, well, didn't find any threats. So they go to 10. Yeah, I'm not going to cast Vindicate here. Alright. I mean, if they find a persist, now they get the general. We don't really have any threats left over. Okay. End of turn fetch. Get Black Source. Turn. I'm going to start holding lands for Ren and 6 too. Like, there's just not really a lot of reason to keep playing lands out. Now we have lethal because we can EOT this Helix. I guess they have 4 life off the Mendings, which is 11, 8... No, we still have lethal. 9, 11, 8, 5... Token is 1, Ren and 6 is the last point. So we have lethal through 2 Mendings. But obviously if they go Mending into Persist, then it's different. Blue, white. Prismatic ending the Ren and 6. Sure. That is fine. Guess we're not quite lethal then. So they persist the Archon. I can respond and Helix them and sack the Golem. That's why I'm doing the heal. That's why I'm Helixing, because I want to keep the General around. And discard the Vista. Now we can Vindicate this, make a 4/4 attack for 3. They go to 6. Auto yield to that. So they go to 6. We have lethal in play, but they might have another persist. Yeah. They have a second persist. This game's not over. We need to find just a spell. I mean, we were looking pretty good, but maybe I should have fired off this Vindicate sooner. Just tried to pressure them with the 4/4. Because I did have opportunities to play the Vindicate earlier, but I obviously wanted to save it for the Archon. They have another ending for the Golem. Yeah, this is not great. Need to find a spell. Need to find any spell. Well, I should have specified. Keep this one. Your turn. Alright. I got 7 power. I still need a persist. The really bad thing is they can mid-combat the persist. So they just pass. And then if I go for lethal, then they just mid-combat the persist, I sack the Golem, they just eat the General for free. And that's really bad for me, as you can imagine. Now, do I have the luxury of playing around it? Depends. Okay, that's a good draw. Let's lead on that. So blue, white, red, green. Let's lead on that. Okay. They did not have the persist. Whew. So we're playing against a Reanimator. Veil of Summer's good, which means I'm not going to bring in Chalice. Kozilek bad. Rip Apart. I guess you can kill a Teferi after it minuses, but that does not seem particularly great. Vindicate's good. Helix, I think, is bad. And I'm not in love with Abrupt Decay, but it does kill Teferi. Maybe I just want to shave an Abrupt Decay. I don't really want to bring in Unmoored Ego. I guess if you name Archon of Cruelty, then that's got to be good, right? Also, do I want to swap trophies for decays? I think so. I think I just want max trophies instead of decays. Decay's better against Teferi, but... Just a question of, do I want this Unmoored Ego? I think I do. I mean, even though Trophy kills Archon, it's like... I don't know. Is that really a winning position? So, like, Archon trigger, you discard a card, lose a thing, and then you trophy their thing, and then they're still up on land after the fact, so it's like you just get 5 for 1 or something. It just doesn't seem very good. I think I'm just going to have 2 trophies, 1 Ego. I do think Ego is quite good. It's really, really hard for them to win without Archon. I'm not even sure how many other win conditions they even have. Yeah, this hand's good. Potentially leave up Veil on one, or just play Triome. See what they do. I might leave up Veil, but if they Thoughtseize me, then I'll probably just play the Triome. You get into these awkward spots when you have Veil on the draw, where it's like if they fire off their discard spell, then you don't want to like just hold up your Veil the entire game. Especially given the fact that we have a Triome. But the other thing is, we can just play Triome on 2 and still hold up the Veil, and then just go Tef/Guile on 3. So it's a question of, do I want Stomping Ground, Temple Garden, or Forest? Well, this kind of has to get blue, right? So we go Forest, Veil, Triome on 2, and then this gets Steam Vents? Yeah, okay. Yep. Because this has to get blue. Because this can't get Breeding Pool. If this was a land that could get Breeding Pool, we could go Breeding Pool, Veil, Triome on 2, and then get Mountain off of this, which I guess might be better, but... Worth noting, Veil of Summer also hits their Archon trigger. So if they put an Archon into play, you can cast Veil of Summer to cycle and make it so you don't discard a card. Which is kind of cool. Just something worth noting. It might come up this game, it might not. But that is another reason to play a bunch of Veils. Because it does stop the Archon trigger. Okay, well, now we got too many Veils. That's enough veiling. Less Veils, please. Is this Faithful Mending? Sure. They do discard the Archon. Given that I have 2 Veils, if they cast Persist, I'm almost certainly going to cycle my Veil. Okay, well, they're doing nothing. I think I will also elect to do nothing. Just going to hold up Kai's Guile, I think. Now we're in a pretty good spot. Blue, sure. Depending on what they put into the graveyard, I could cast the Kai's Guile now, which is maybe worth it. Because it stops them flashing back the Faithful Mending. We'll see what they do. Second Archon. Yeah, I'm just going to wait. Because they put a card on top, they probably have a land, which means they might go for Thoughtseize plus Persist. No, they're choosing to go for nothing. So do I end step the Guile? I don't want to be in a position where I'm discarding, because I don't want to cast a Fairy. And I don't want to tap out for General. I want to keep holding up my mana. But it's kind of awkward. I think I'm going to cast it. So this has to get... We need blue, and we need a second black or white source. So this can get island... and then black, white, green, blue, and then we'd have to get red, black, right? So it'd be red, black, white, blue. Yeah, that makes sense. I think. I think I did this right. Exile, graveyard, make a 1/1. Exile, make a 1/1. So white, black, blue. That's a really awkward draw. Because now I can't hold up. Okay. Well, just gonna name white. Maybe I'm not even supposed to cast that and just hold up Veil. But it's awkward because I didn't have a second forest. Or a second green source. So now they probably bounce the spirit token. It's actually somewhat annoying. And they have prismatic ending too. Okay. Well, we can just slam the general now. It's not too bad. Could also Vindicate, but I think I want to get some pressure on this Teferi in play. But Teferi does kind of blank my Veils. Maybe I should have fetched a second green source. Could have went like Mountain Breeding Pool, right? No, because this couldn't get Breeding Pool, right? Remember, I wanted this to get Breeding Pool, but it couldn't. That's the whole point of this having to take this like weird line, because this couldn't get Breeding Pool. I mean, it's, you know, we still have all 5 colors. It's not that bad, but it's just a little awkward in terms of like sequencing. Opponent has elected to cast Engineered Explosives X equals 3. Okay. I accept. So let's kill your Teferi. And do I care about the explosives? Yeah, I guess. It does give me more pressure too. Wish I could have cast the Sprawl first, but take what you can get. We still have an answer to an Archon, even if they put Archon into play. It's not that bad. We're a little tight on mana, though. A little tight on mana. They discarded Priest of Felrights and Thoughtseize. Okay. It's good for us. No Archon. My turn. There we go. Now I could even play Teferi and hold up Veil. Which I think I probably will do. I can actually go Sprawl. No, not quite, right? I can't go Sprawl and... Yeah. Right, because if I get a forest, and I Sprawl the forest named White, then I have to tap the forest and the island to play the Teferi, and then I don't have Veil up. So why don't we just get... Just get a Plains. And do this. I want to keep up the Triumph. I guess I could have gotten a second forest. What's this? I'm just going to cast Mending, sure. I could have gotten a second forest and then left up, or I could have just not fetched, left up a Vista, and then if they have a thing, then I can cast the Veil. Yeah, probably should have got a second forest. I mean, I'm not sure how much it matters. Well, actually, that does matter, because now, yeah, that was bad. So I should have gotten a second forest. No, right? Because if I'm not casting Sprawl, then I don't have 5 mana if I don't draw a land for Bring to Light next turn. So I don't think it matters. I'm not sure. They discarded Murktide Regent. Okay. They have an Otherworldly Gaze as well. Teferi, Time, Raveler. 11. I could just respond and cast Veil of Summer. So they can't bounce anything with Tef. I mean, they could choose nothing, obviously, but... This also prevents me from getting Archon trigger this turn, so I think it makes the most sense. Yeah, but they're just off it. Mana was a little awkward that game, but it didn't matter too much, because their draw just kind of didn't... I mean, they mulled the 5 this game. Their draw just didn't really pan out, so... 1-0. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 2. All right, everybody, we're back here for round number 2. We are on the draw. Yeah, we're on the draw. Well, I got a Random 6 and an Abrupt Decay. I'm going to keep it. It's a little slow. But, I don't know, interactive spell into red into Bring to Light seems fine to me. Chosen to play, but what can you do? Seachrome Coast Serum Visions. Why do I feel like that's ad nauseum? And I'm about to be in a world of hurt. I feel like our ad nauseum. Yep. Well, Teferi's good. I guess we can also Abrupt Decay their Lotus Plume and their Upkeep. 3 turns from now. Oh, they have 2 Lotus Blooms. Okay, well, we need to draw Teferi. So let's go Forest, name White. Because that way I can cast Vindicate or Teferi if I draw it. And if I brick, I can still play Red and 6. Off of Steam Vents. And then we can get a swamp off the Vista. Yeah, that makes sense. Thoughtseize. Okay. Note, Bring to Light cannot get Planeswalkers. So unfortunately, we cannot Bring to Light for a Teferi. They took the Wrenn. Alright, Teferi? Yeah, it's not very good. Let's play... Well, I kind of just want to thin my deck a little bit. Just play the Mesa. I mean, I'm going to end up fetching either way, but... So these are on 2, right? Or 1, excuse me, not 2. Okay, I have all the mana in the world. Is there any reason to Abrupt Decay the Prism? Well, Abrupt Decaying this is good if I draw Teferi, because it just cuts them off the most amount of mana. So, I think that's fine. I don't think my life total matters anyways. But yeah, I think I want to do this because it's just a lot better if I draw Teferi. Which we did not. So, here we are. We are at the mercy of our opponent having their combo. I know these days that these can't talk today. These ad nauseum decks don't actually play a lot of ad nauseums anymore. Most of the lists that I've seen have only on like 1 ad nause to be able to search for off a Profane Tutor, and they're mostly focusing their deck around the like the Thassa's Oracle kind of stuff. So, yeah, they don't even have the Zicumbo. Okay, so green, white, blue, black. So this has to get a red or a black. Okay. So let's get... Well, I guess it doesn't matter, right? Red. Spring to Light for 5. Question is, what are we going to get? I think we're just going to get a Niv. Like, what's our other options? Vindicate, not so good, because they have a million mana. General, no. Guile, no. Omnath, no. Yeah, we're just going to get a Niv. Just gonna Niv them. Okay, so this can blow up one of their blooms. Okay. Although I don't even think their Lotus Blooms matter that much at this point. So even though we can kill a Lotus Bloom, I'm not sure that that's our best course of action. See what they do. We could just be dead. Wouldn't be surprised. Angel's Grace. Uh-oh. So they're going to spoils for Adnaz? Wait, they spoiled for Profane Tutor? No. Oh, the Profane Tutor went to their exile zone. Okay, that's the joke. I see. So they have 1 blue floating. And yeah, we're just going to die to Thassa's Oracle because they can mill their whole deck. Okay, cool. I don't need to look at their deck. I kind of know what's going on. All right, we're going to bring in Unmoored Ego. Could bring in Chalice for 0 against Lotus Bloom. It's also decent on 1, right? Because it can hit... Yeah, because 0 stops Lotus Bloom and Profane Tutor, and 1 stops Spoils, Adnaz, and Thoughtseize. Yeah, Chalice has to be really good against them. Could Rip Apart to potentially hit their mana. And also maybe Unlife if they keep that in. Helix is no bueno. Helix is definitely the worst card. Trophy is also not great. Dreadbore is also quite bad. Kaya's Guile seems really bad. So this gives us room for 5 cards. How good is Veil of Summer? I guess they have Thoughtseize, and potentially Veil of Summer can also hit Active Negation if that comes up. I probably want to just go in on the Mana Denial plan and bring in the Vindicate. So now it's a question of what of these two, or which 2 of these do we want? Or less decays, more veils. Decay doesn't hit that much, right? Well, it hits Prism and Lotus Bloom, which is a decent amount. If we just have like 2 veils, not a ton, because we're also sometimes looking to Chalice on 1, so I don't want to bring in a bunch of veils. I think 2 is probably okay. So this hand is Basic Forest, Utopia Sprawl for red, turn 2, Ren and 6, get back Vista. The issue is we don't really have any, like, good defensive maneuvers. Our hand's just like, our leftovers are a second Ren and 6, a Veil of Summer, which might not even be good, and a Rip Apart, which might not even be good. I think this hand's just too bad. Okay, this is a lot better. Turn 2 to Fairy. So we're definitely going to keep this one. I think I'm going to put back the Veil, because I'm just tapping out on the first 2 turns. So let's go Sprawl for white, and then we can just go Steam Vents to Fairy on 2. Unless we get Thoughtseized, but... Not getting Thoughtseized. That's good. I'm going to get Spell Pierced, maybe? Show me. Show me the Spell Pierce. I guess they could also Pact plus Grace. So they Pact Vindication the Teferi, upkeep Angel's Grace. We call that the Force of Will. They did have the Spell Pierce. Okay, well, that is very unfortunate for us. Because now we're probably going to lose. Unless we draw a Chalice or another Teferi. This matchup seems not very good. Dirtily mid-range deck versus turn 4 combo deck. Does not seem like a matchup that I want to play. I mean, we have Brink to Light, I guess, but is that going to be good enough? Probably not. They also might just have another Spell Pierce. Green, white, black. I guess let's just get blue and black. All right, what are the odds this resolves? Done. Well, okay. So, Ego there, Thassa's Oracles. I mean, I have to, right? They have 2 Blooms exiled. Does this one resolve? No, that one did not resolve. I thought we had it for a second. Thought we were okay. Smart of them to pact the card that we bring to let it for, not the bring to let itself. Because they probably know I only have 1 copy of Unmoored Ego. So, very, very good play by them. And they have Grace, and we are probably dead. Spoils of the Vault. And they hit Ad Nauseam. Okay, yeah, you win. Not a lot we could have done there. I mean, our hand kind of played itself. We had a decent hand. Like, you know, we had turn 2 Teferi, turn 4 Bring to Light, but they just had 2 answers. So, 1-1. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 3. Alrighty, YouTube, round number 3. We're up against the Yorion. Worth noting. So, Vista for Forest, Utopia Sprawl, and can't really go anywhere else, so we'll ship this. 2 Sprawls, a Niv, a Dreadbore. So keep this, put back the basic mountain, I think. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yorion could mean a couple of different things, but... Okay, it looks like some sort of Death and Taxes deck. Okay, okay. So, Overgrown Tomb, name white, I think? Or do we want to name red first? Problem with naming red is I can't cast a fairy if I draw it. So I think I want to name white to start off with. And if I absolutely have to cast Dreadbore, I could even go black-green. I could get Stomping Ground. Red. Yeah, Stomping Ground named Black. Tap this, sprawl the Stomping Ground named Black, and then cast the Dreadbore if I absolutely had to. I also don't really want to load up double sprawl on the same land if they have Ghost Quarter, so that's something to keep in mind. Hmm. So yeah, we're just gonna get Stomping Ground, right? Fetch Foothills names get Stomping Ground. Tap the Overgrown Tomb, Utopia Sprawl the Stomping Ground named Black, and then Dreadbore the Giver, and then I can get a blue land off of this to play the Niv. Yeah. So let's do it like this. Get Stomping Ground. Excuse me. So green, sprawl here, named Black. And then Dreadbore, this Giver. That's the one that does not have some. That's the one that came into play last turn. Alright. Giver is down. Your turn. Now this can get Steam Vents, so we can play Niv. A Brush Land. Flicker Wisp. So that's going to get one of the... Yeah, sure, that's fine. That's pretty good against our Sprawl. But now we can just play Omnath. No, because we're naming Black with this one. Right. Right. I guess I just go Ren Uptick then. That was a reason to maybe not name Black. I guess I could have done that a little bit differently, huh? Yeah. Because I put myself in a spot where if one of my lands died, I couldn't play the Omnath. I mean, if they want to kill the Ren and 6, it's not that bad. Because I still get to Niv-Mizzet next turn. So yeah, the Ren and 6, and I couldn't minus last turn on the Flicker Wisp because they had the Giver up. Yeah, that is totally fine. So now we can get a blue source. Yeah, we should be chilling now. Blue source. So blue, red, black, green. So this has to get white, so it's Temple Garden. Yeah, Temple Garden it is. Alright, I got a Niv. Let's take... I don't really need the general. Let's just take the removal spell. So then I can Helix this. Yeah. Could also bring to light next turn. We are big chillin'. Big chillin'. If we find a fetch land, we could even play Omnath. Could just play Omnath as is, but... Solitude is acceptable. So 14 could bring to light for another Niv if we wanted to. Alright, we drew a fetch land, so now we can go green, red, blue, white, Omnath, float a black, Let's go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll go crack this. Get a... black. So we'll have one of each. I'm trying to think if I can play Helix and Vindicate. White, white, red, black. Yeah, if I get a plains, right? So if I get a plains... Yeah, now I have white, white, red, black. Okay, so I can go Vindicate the Giver. If they protect something, then I can Helix the thing they protect. So let's go Vindicate the Giver, floating this. And then if they go to protect the Solitude, then I can just Helix the Solitude, because I want to get this off the battlefield. That's the whole point of this, because we know they have Yorion. I don't want them blinking the Yorion. That's why I did it that way. And then our hand is just two more threats. I feel like it's going to be pretty hard for them to get out of this one. I mean, they're going to try. They're definitely going to try. Alright, so they blink the Oath and the Flicker Wisp. They can flicker the Yorion again, that's fine. Don't really care. Guess they have an endless loop. Oh, now they don't have an endless loop anymore. Alright, so let's go... Can I Abrupt Decay and Niv? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I have green, green, black, black? Black, green, blue, white, red. I can, right? Yeah, Abrupt Decay this, play Niv. Dope. Alright, for you. I want to Abrupt Decay the Flicker Wisp now, so they can't get it back. They can't just keep looping with the Yorion. So that's why I wanted to kill it now. If I'm going to do it, I might as well do it now. Oh, they don't want to play anymore. Alright, cool. Game number 2 against Death and Taxes. Prismatic Ending's pretty good against their givers. Vindicate, yeah. Rip Apart, yeah. I do not like Trophy against them. This is a matchup where you're going to go a little bit longer. Not a big fan of Trophy again in those spots. Honestly, I mean, I want to keep Rip Apart because they probably have Vial. What's my next worst removal spell? It might just be Kaya's Guile. Or maybe Vindicate. Yeah. Problem with Vindicate is sorcery speed is not that good. And most of the time with Vindicate, you're trading down on mana. At least Kaya's Guile, you can get a 2-for-1, and it's instant speed, and then all of your other cards are like Rip Apart, 2 mana, more mana efficient against Vial, and then Helix and Decay are both instants. Vindicate might just be the worst removal spell. Feels weird to cut it in this matchup, but I think it's either that or Kaya's Guile. I guess the other argument is like making them edicting them is not the best because you're usually just going to get their worst creature, and they're not doing anything with their graveyard. I mean, 1/1 kind of blocks Flicker Wisp, so it's close. What if I cut 2 of each? Split the difference because I'm not sure which one's better. All right, that's probably a really bad reason to do that, but I'm not sure. I think you could argue one way or the other which one's better, and I think it's close. Yeah, this hand seems fine. You can go turn 1 Sprawl naming white. I think I'm down with this. Basic Forest, huh? I'm going to play the Breeding Pool because I think that's my weaker land. If they do, in fact, have a Ghost Quarter. Eisen Canopy, Athalia. Okay. Well, that was pretty good. That one was pretty good. I will accept a Wrenn and 6 draw step there. Now they can flicker my breeding pool, but then I can just ping the Wrenn and 6, or ping the Flicker Wisp. So they're going to get a Cauldron complete. Well, we can just kill the Stoneforge. So let's kill it with Helix, I think. So I can go green-white. Go Sprawl here, floating a white. So this wants to name blue, I think. And then Helix this thing, plus on nothing. Your turn. And this way, this gives us Omnath mana. That's why I wanted to name blue with this. Another Stoneforge. Okay, well, we got that covered. So that's not too bad. We know they have a Batter Skull and a Cauldron. I don't want to risk drawing a fetch land. I mean, worst case scenario, they put a Cauldron to play, and then I have a Prismatic Ending. But, yeah, I don't know. There's just no reason to get risky, right? I'm just going to kill it. Far enough ahead where I think I can just afford to kill it there and not risk it. I mean, it's obviously quite good if I draw a fetch land, but... Okay. We're going to try this again. I have yet another answer. Alright, let's keep doing it. Kill your Stoneforge, your turn. Alright, do they have the 4th Stoneforge Mystic? No, it seems like they don't. They have double white now, though. Gaddock Teague. Okay. Gaddock Teague plus Thalia? Well, I guess Thalia wouldn't do anything, huh? Okay, now we draw a fetch land. But they have an Arbiter. Arbiter. Interesting. So I can play Omnath. Blue, red, green, white. I can't fetch, though, which is awkward. So, plus on nothing, play fetch, gain 4 life, pass. Can't fetch because of the Arbiter. But we have an Omnath. Now I can go... Could even go pay 2 for Arbiter, crack the fetch, Omnath trigger, plus the Wrenn, get back the fetch, play the fetch, Omnath trigger again. Okay, they're gonna maul... Is that... That's the one equipment we didn't know about. That's hilarious. That's awesome. So their hand right now is Batter Skull, Cauldron, Sword of Fire and Ice. That's the one. They had all 4 equipments. That's awesome. All right, my Wrenn takes 4. That's fine. I can live with that. Okay, so let's go pay 2 for this, crack this, get a swamp. I need black mana from the for the Niv. Get this thing back, play this, crack this. I guess I need to crack this one. Yeah, I don't know why I cracked this one. That was dumb. Mountain. Yeah, I don't know why I sacrificed that one. Because I already had mana from the thing. I shouldn't have cracked that one. It's not a huge deal, but... Bounce this, attack, pass. Okay, sure. They're off it. They don't want to play anymore. All right. That seemed like a pretty easy match. I mean, my opponent, their mana was a little awkward. They drew a bunch of Stoneforges and we had 3 answers. So, but I think generally this is going to be a pretty favorable matchup for the Niv deck. So we are 2-1, and I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 4. All right, YouTube, round 4, 2-1. Let's see if we can keep it going. All right, what do we got here? We have a turn 2 Wrenn and 6, and we can get Abzan Triumph into Mountain into Island, so I think I'm down with this hand. We got a turn 2 Wrenn and a turn 3 Vindicate. I'm here for it. Opponent did not reveal a companion. Hopefully they play an X1. That can't be good for us. Well, I mean, we got a bunch of trophies, at least post-board. And trophy is really good against them. We also have Vindicate, so I don't know. We got some. We're on the LD plan this game. Yeah. So let's go run in 6. Get back a land. I mean, they have one trophy main deck, but post board we get a lot of trophies, and we have this thing. So, because I assume they're playing Charbelcher, but we might just be dead now, and that would not be good. I mean, that's kind of just like the traditional mid-range league, right? You beat the fair decks and lose to the unfair decks. That's just kind of how mid-range works in Modern, you know? You could be as good as you want to be against the fair decks, but then you just lose to Belcher and Adnaz. Oh, okay, I can beat this. This I can beat. So let's get, I think, a Plains. And they know about the Vista, so let's get a Plains off of this. Then we can Vindicate this thing. Well, we're not dead, which is good. Whoop, I don't want to cast that. I want to cast this one. Oh, I guess they could. No, they can't. They can't pact, right? Because they can't. They can't upkeep. Sometimes if they have 3 mana in play, they can pact whatever spell you play and then upkeep the Belcher activation. But they didn't have 3 mana in play, so they couldn't do that. Okay, that's bad. Forgot about that card. Awkward. Alright, your turn. I feel like this could have been avoided. If I had fetched a... Well, I guess I could have not triumphed on one, right? I could have gotten a forest on one. No, because if I go Forest Mountain, then I can't play the Vindicate on 2. Or the Vindicate on 3. So, in order for me to play around Blood Moon... I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe I just couldn't play around Blood Moon this game. I'm trying to think of how I could have sequenced my lands differently. Because in order for me to curve Renin 6 into Vindicate, I have to have at least one dual land in play, right? I can't go basics with Renin 6 plus Vindicate because it's red green into black white. So yeah, I don't really know if there was any way I could have gotten a swamp. Because I went Triumph on 1, Mountain Renin 6 on 2. I mean, I guess I could have gotten a swamp on 3, right? That's what I could have done. Instead of getting a plains, but then I'm still only... I basically am in the same spot, except I have a swamp instead of a plains, which doesn't get me anywhere in terms of killing the Blood Moon. I mean, if I draw a swamp or a forest, then we're in business, but... I kind of have to assume they can find a kill before I find a swamp or a forest. It's just like no reason to ultimate this too, right? I don't think so. Alright, classic Blood Moon game. We'll just see who gets out of it first. Right, well, now that the Ren... Well, no, I don't want the Ren dying to Spikefield Hazard. I guess I'll probably ultimate it next turn, but... Alright, swamp or a forest, please. This is why we gotta play Metamorphose, so we can fix our mana. Balagid Recovery the Charbelcher. Alright, now we're probably dead. Yeah, we're dead. Alright, you win. Got Blood Mooned. Yeah, I don't really think there was a way that I could have sequenced my lands such that I could have curved Ren into Vindicate while playing around Blood Moon. I just don't think that was possible. Alright, so we're going to do this stuff. Prismatic Ending. I guess you can kill treasures from Strike It Rich. I don't think that's worth it, though. Veil of Summer's bad. Chalice bad. Kozilek, no. Rip Apart, probably. Helix bad. Dreadbore bad. Kaya's Guile bad. Got to keep one of these cards in. Or potentially two and cut something else and have two endings. You do like two ending, two decay. They kind of do the exact same thing, right? They both kill Strike It Rich tokens, but ending is more mana efficient. Well, no, decay kills Blood Moon. Alright, I'll just have one prismatic ending then. Because decay does kill Blood Moon. Probably need all of my decays. I mean, this deck can surprisingly play around Blood Moon. You do have one of each basic, and if you have, like, turn 1 Forest Utopia Sprawl, you could just name black and then, you know, fetch whatever on turn 2, and then as long as you have decay or trophy, then you don't really care that much. But you have a lot of ways to kill Blood Moon. On top of already having a fine mana base against it. Like, that game, I think it was just kind of a little awkward. Like, I guess I could have chosen to not play the Wrenn and 6 and sort of play around Blood Moon that way, but yeah. Okay, so this is a hand. This might just be a turn 2 general and just try to get some pressure that way. I don't think I can mulligan, and I think decay is my worst card. So let's do this. Let's get... See, here's the awkward part. I want to play... Like, I want red mana for Wrenn/General, but I also want blue mana for Sprawl. What if I just go Foothills, Basic Forest, Sprawl, name White? And then I can choose to fetch red or blue next turn, depending on what they do and what I draw. I think that's my best way to do this. So just go Forest, name White. Yeah. Because that white is for both of these cards. So I give myself the option of casting either of these, or potentially neither and playing the Wrenn and 6. Okay, well, drawing the red mana changes things. That makes me kind of want to just play Teferi now. But it's not really putting pressure on them is the issue. They kept 7, so, I mean... See, the thing is, I have no recourse against the turn 2 kill anyways. Yeah, let's just play Teferi. Playing Teferi is good if their hand is like Ritual, Belcher, go. Because then they can't do that when I have Teferi in play, because I can just bounce the Belcher. But if their hand is like land, Ritual, feet, plus Belcher, then, I mean, I'm dead to that no matter what I do. My hand just can't beat that, so... No reason to play around something that I can't beat anyways. Okay. That was maybe a reason to play the Wrenn and 6, because now I don't have the ability to cast Vindicate this turn. Unless I minus Tef and peel a Black Source, which I think is what I want to do. Not quite. Alright. Let's go Wrenn and 6, get back Vista. And that can be our basic swamp. Maybe I was supposed to play General this turn? And the next turn, Wrenn and 6. Yeah, I was supposed to play General that turn. Okay, they have recrossed the paths. Well, it's actually not too bad for me, because I can actually... Well, first of all, they can't reforge the soul with Teferi in play, so that's off the table. And I can blow up maybe the red source. This actually doesn't seem that bad for me. Like, what's their stack gonna be? I almost certainly should have played General last turn, though. That was bad, I think. What is their stack gonna be? They revealed a Mirius Call. And I revealed a Rip Apart. I gotta try and think about what their stack's gonna be. Maybe it just doesn't matter. I have to Vindicate their red source, I'm pretty sure. Which means, if I'm vindicating their red source, does this card matter? Not really, because I can Prismatic Ending. I can already Prismatic Ending a Goblin Charbelcher if they do that, so I think I'd rather just bottom this and look for Bring to Light. Abrupt Decay. Alright, so let's go black mana. Indicate your red source. Plus Tef. Plus on Vista. And then ship it. Yeah, see, this would have been a lot better if I had General. Because I could have went Ren plus Vindicate this turn. Would have been in the same spot, but I'd be attacking them for 3, putting them to 14. That would have 11 power in play. So, yeah, I messed up pretty badly. Well, I drew on Mortigo, so maybe it's not going to matter. Because I'm very lucky. So, let's go crack this for the last basic. Let's go green, white, red. Play General. Get back Foothills, and then I'm going to draw step the Unmortigo, because I plus the Tef. And we'll name Goblin Charbelcher. And see if that's good enough. I hope so. Alright, cool. I messed up pretty badly. I definitely messed up pretty badly by not playing the General the turn that I played Red and 6, but got bailed out. Deck bailed me out. Okay, after seeing what they were doing, yeah, I'm not going to change anything. We're good. Let's go. Game 3. Now we have to win a game of a draw. Just, like, impossible. Unless their deck just hits their fail rate. No. Okay. This hand plays. This hand plays... Do I put back the Triome? Yeah, I think so. I gotta put back the Triome. It's kind of awkward that I want to name black so I can have access to turn 2 Vindicate. But then if I name black, I don't have mana to play General or Omnath. So we will see what we draw. Alright, well they mulled the 4. So there's that. Okay, well now we have the Blood Crypt, so... Now we can go Forest. Now I can name blue, right? No, because if I name blue, I can't play Vindicate on 2. So I'm going to name white or black. I mean, I really want blue mana, though. I'm going to name white. I think it's more important to play turn 2 Vindicate, especially when they're on a Mulda 4. Because we don't really need the Omnath for a threat. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Alright, blow up your thing. They could veil me. They didn't veil me. Alright, let's see if they have a veil now. Now they have veil. Alright, fine. I accept. I accept. I mean, I'm not happy about it, but... This can get blue mana, Steam Vents. So now we can play the Omnath. Utopia Sprawl. Let's just play the Omnath. Okay, not too bad. Let's go... Is there any reason to cast the Sprawl here? I don't think so. Let's just get Triome, play General. Oh, we can just play the Sprawl after the General, yeah. Name black. Because I think that's best if they have Blood Moon. Green, white, black. I guess we don't have blue, but I think black is more important because black is decay / trophy. Alright. I paused the video a little bit there. Opponent went into the tank with the recross the paths. I do not want to draw a general, so we need to find something good. I wonder... I mean, I think the only decision that I had was to, like, whether or not to cast the second Vindicate. Alright, well. Attack for 7, I guess. I got nothing else. Am I dead? I gotta be dead, right? They didn't draw step the Manamorphose. I guess they wanted to play around me drawing Teferi, which makes sense. But yeah, I gotta be dead. There's no way I'm not dead. Man. Yeah, like, I'm just trying to think. I think the only decision I had was to whether or not to cast the second Vindicate when they had a green mana up. And I could have waited, you know, to wait to see if they tap out, so then they don't have the Veil of Summer available. But I think that's the only decision that I really had this game. I don't really think I had any other, like, meaningful decisions, maybe outside of mulliganing, obviously, but I think my hand was fine to keep. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have cast a second Vindicate. Anyways, 2-2. I would expect to lose to Belcher anyways, but 2-2, we've beat the fair decks and lost to the unfair decks, so maybe we'll play against another fair deck. I'll see you back here in just a little bit for round number 5. Alright, YouTube, this is normally where we would see round number 5. However, I had some issues with the recording. The sound, I don't know, there's something wrong with the sound, and I couldn't really tell you what was happening. I went back to go watch the file, but it was all messed up. To give you a synopsis, I played a 40-minute match against Blue-White Control that they won 2-0, and I just got ran out of win conditions both games because there's only 2 Nivs, 2 Omnaths, and they just kind of they were pretty easily able to fight through it, even though the games lasted forever. I just got to a point where I could no longer win the game. The games weren't terribly interesting for the most part. I think if you want to make that matchup better, you probably need to play more win conditions because they just have enough Solitudes and Verdicts to cover you. But yeah, the games weren't super interesting, so I'm not like that upset that I lost the file. But overall, we went 2-3. We beat the first 2 fair decks that we played against, and we lost to the 2 unfair decks, which I would expect for a deck like this. So, if you are interested in playing this deck, again, if you expect to play against Control, I'd recommend some more win conditions. You might be a little short on that. And, yeah, maybe some additional sideboard hate for the combo matchups. But anyways, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.